Good morning, everyone. Today we continue our Rambam, our daily Rambam, with chapter what? Chapter 4 in the laws of Talmud Torah. A short chapter, not as short as yesterday, but still a short chapter for Friday. The good news is we're changing the clock, so hopefully you'll have more hours after your Rambam, even on Fridays. אין מלמדים תורה אלא לתלמיד הגון נאה במעשיו או לתם. One should not teach Torah only to a student which is decent and pleasant in his actions, or one who is simple but wholesome. אבל אם היה הולך כדי בדרך לא טובה, מחזירין אותו למוטב. But if he was following an improper path, then you bring him to the right path. ומנהיגים אותו בדרך ישרה, and we guide him first on the right path. ובודקים אותו, and we examine him. ואחר כך מכניסים אותו לבית המדרש, and then you bring him to the בית המדרש. And then you bring him to the right, to the study hall, and teach him. ומלמדים אותו. אמרו חכמים, our sages teach us, כל השונה לתלמיד שאינו הגון כאילו זרק אבן למרכולי שנאמר כי צרור אבן במרגמה כן נותן לכסיל כבוד ואין כבוד אל התורה שנאמר כבוד חכמים חלו. Our sages say the one who teaches a student who is not a decent person is considered to have thrown a stone as an act of worship to the idol of Marcolis. And it's like giving an honor to a fool, which honor is Torah. What does that mean, practically speaking? You have to be careful. There's some people which are using the Torah to their benefit, and they're going to use the information afterwards to follow their own ideology. The Magid of Duvno has a mashal of this, has a parable. It says one day a king was walking through the forest, and he saw a bunch of dartboards. Right, it was like a bullseye and a dartboard that's inscribed on a tree, and in every single bullseye and target there was the target. There was the dart. So he found out. He says, who did this? He found out who it was. He says, how did you do it? You must be excellent, that you have such a vision, that you're able to always hit the dart perfectly. He said, Your Highness, I'll tell you the truth. I throw the dart, and afterwards I draw the circle around the dart. There are those who study Torah and say, look, this is what the Torah demands from me. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try. Sometimes I'll succeed, sometimes I won't. But the Torah stays in its authenticity. And there are those who are there to extract things in order to do it for themselves. So that's such a student, you have to be very careful not to. So too, if a teacher does not follow the proper path, even though he might be very wise, and everybody needs him, people need him, and you don't learn from such a rabbi. Till he repents. אם דומה הרב למלאך השם צבקות, תורה יבקשו מפיהו, ואם לאו, אל יבקשו תורה מפיהו. Our sages say that it says in the verse that the lips of the priest shall safeguard wisdom, and they shall seek Torah from him, from his mouth, because he's an angel of God. So our sages say, if your teacher looks like an angel of God, then you should learn from him. Guys, you are in trouble. And if not, you don't learn from him. So I once heard a beautiful explanation on that. What does it mean, an angel of God? It says an angel doesn't evolve. He doesn't go higher. He's always in the same level that he was before. If a teacher is ready to give up his personal growth in order to see you grow, from such a teacher you want to learn. Halacha bet. Ketzad melamdin. What is the proper decorum to teach Torah? Arav Yoshev Rosh, the rabbi sits at the head. והתלמידים לפניו מוקפים עטרה כדי שיהיו כולם רואים את הרב ושומעים דבריו. And the students sit before him, encircling him like a crown, so they can all see the teacher and hear his words. ולא ישב הרב על כיסא והתלמידים על קרקע. The rabbi should not be sitting on a chair while they're sitting on the floor. אלא או הכל על הארץ או על הכל הכיסאות. Either they all sit on chairs or they all sit on the floor. ובראשונה ישב ויושב התלמידים עומדים. Before the teacher used to sit and the students would stand. ומקודם חורבן בית שני נהגו הכל ללמד לתלמידים בין יושבים, and already from before the destruction of the second temple, it was customary that all the students should be sitting as well. הלכה ג' אם היה הרב מלמד מפיו לתלמידים מלמד. If a teacher teaches directly from his mouth to the students, he may teach this way. ואם היה מלמד על ידי מתרגם, המתרגם עומד בינו ובין התלמידים. There used to be a person which was a spokesperson for the teacher, which would either translate in a language that was more understood to the students. So if he does that, and you do have a translator, I'm not talking about this little thing you put on the ear now that translates 160 languages simultaneously. A real spokesperson. והרב אומר למתרגם. So how would that work? The teacher would say to the translator, the spokesperson, והמתרגם משמיע לכל התלמידים, and he would repeat to all the students. וכשהם שואלים למתרגם הוא שואל לרב. They would ask, the spokesperson would ask the rabbi, והרב משיב למתרגם והמתרגם משיב לשואל, and this would go in the same order back with the answers. ולא יגביה הרב קולו יותר מן המתרגם, ולא יגביה המתרגם קולו בעת ששואל את הרב יותר מכל הרב. Neither were allowed to raise their voice higher than the other. אין התורגמן רשאי לא לפחות ולא הוסיף ולא לשנות. The spokesperson may not detract nor add or make any changes to what the rabbi said. אלא אם כן היה מתורגמן אביו של חכם או רבו, unless he was the teacher of the rabbi or he was his father. אמר הרב למתורגם, כך אמר לי רבי, או כך אמר לי אבא מרי, כשאומר מתורגם הדברים לעם אומרם בשם החכם ומזכיר שמו של אבי הרב או של רבו. ואומר, כך אמר רבנה פלוני, אף על פי שלא הזכיר החכם שמו, שאסור לו לקרות לרבו לאביו בשמו. So in this case, what happens is when the spokesperson, when the teacher is going to say, my teacher taught me like this, my father taught me like this. So the metargem has to say the name of the rabbi that taught him, and if it's his father, the father, then he doesn't mention the father's name, because it's forbidden to call one teacher or father by his proper name. If a teacher taught and the students did not understand, he should not become angry and get upset. He should rather go back and review the matter even several times. Till they're going to go to the depth of the understanding of the law. And so too, the student is not allowed to say, oh yeah, I understand, I got it. And he didn't understand. He continues and he asks again. Even a few times. And if his teacher gets upset, so I already explained to you once and twice and so on and so forth, what do you want? He says, Rabbi, I want to learn, and please, it's Torah and I want to learn it, I want to understand. That's what he must say. I remember when I was in 770 Eastern Parkway, I was studying with my chavruta, Rabbi Liberov, and we were studying to become rabbis. And I was not so diligent in my studies like my colleague in learning. Rabbi Liberov was very diligent, but he had a memory like a sifter, which means he forgot. I remember one instance where he went to the rabbi, which was on the other side of the hall, right? Maybe a 10-second walk, to ask him to explain something. He went there, he came back, and by the time he came back, he had already forgotten what the rabbi explained to him. But he was so diligent. If I was as diligent as him today, I would be a genius. But he made it. With all this, he made it. He repeated and repeated and repeated till he got and became, Baruch Hashem, a very successful rabbi. Today in Boca, I think he is. Halacha hey. There's hope for all of us, my friends. לא יהיה התלמיד בוש מחברו שלמד מפעם ראשונה או שנייה והוא לא למד אלא אחר כמה פעמים. A student should not be embarrassed of his fellow who understood at once or upon repetition while he didn't understand except after several repetitions. שאם נתבייש מדבר זה נמצא נכנס ויוצא לבית המדרש והוא אינו ללמד כלום. Because if he's going to be embarrassed of this, then he will end up entering and leaving the study hall without having learned a thing. לפיכך אמרו חכמים הראשונים אין הביישן למד ולא הקפדן מלמד. Therefore our sages taught us in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of Our Fathers, chapter 2, Mishneh 5, one who is bashful does not learn, and one who is too exacting cannot teach. So, I want to tell you something that's very encouraging. There's a great rabbi by the name of Rav Aryeh Leib Ehrlich HaKohen. He wrote two extraordinary books, the Ksot HaChoshen and the Shev Shmaisa. And in both these books, he explains things in a very, very great depth. In his Akdama, in his introduction to the Shev Shmaisa, he asks a question. He says, I don't understand. Our sages say that when God created man, God said it was very good. And our sages explain, it was good, the fact that man has the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. It was bad, it was very good, I'm sorry. It was very good. What's the very good? The fact that he has a bad inclination. The fact that you have a bad inclination is very good. The fact that you have a good inclination is good. Okay. So says the Shev Shmaisa. Says like this. I said, I don't understand. Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon says, Lev Chacham Limino. The wise heart is on the right side, which is the same side as the good inclination, the Yetzer Tov. And the evil inclination is on the left side. Right? So on this, Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon says, that's the foolish heart. The fool is on the left. The smart is on the right. So it comes out that if you're telling me that the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is on the left of the heart, and the foolish heart is on the left, so to be foolish is very good, because we just said, what's very good? To have an evil inclination. It's very good. So it means that to be a fool is very good, because it's on the same side, it's the same thing. And he explains like this. He says, yes, it's very good. It's very good not to have a good head. Because he says there are two types of people. You have a person that has a sharp brain. He catches on right away to the subject matter and he gets it right away. He says that person will catch and he'll get. The person that doesn't understand is going to dig and repeat and re-ask and ask again and forget and then re-ask again. And with his asking and his depth, because he doesn't have such a great brain, he's going to come to a depth that the other person that got it the first time will not get. And therefore it's very good not to be so smart. Why do our sages say it's very good that you have a Yetzer Hara? Because once you have an evil inclination, you have to overcome something. You get to a deeper power inside of you. So here we see that don't get discouraged. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. You have to work to the best of who you are and make your effort to the best capacity. We continue the halacha. This is all speaking about if the student didn't understand because of its depth, so he should ask and ask again till he understands. Or maybe he has limited intellect. אבל אם ניכר לרב שהם מתרשתים בדברי תורה ומתרפים עליהן ולפיכך לא הבינו חייב לרגוז עליהם להכנימם בדברים, כדי לחדדן ובעניין זה המוחמים זרוק מרב התלמידים. But if the student understands, he has limited intellect, and he knows that the Torah is very good, and he knows that the Torah is very good, so he should ask and ask again till he understands. But if he sees that the students are taking it easy, they're joking around, and therefore they didn't understand, they weren't paying attention, then he should act upset with them, shame them verbally in order to sharpen them regarding this matter. Our sages teach us, right, that you have to give firm discipline upon your students, right? Zrok mara b'talmidim, meaning make them bitter. And therefore it's improper for a teacher to act in a light-headed manner in the presence of his students. ולא לשחוק בפניהם, and not to jest in their presence. ולא לאכול ולשתות עמהם, not to drink and eat with them, כדי שתהיה מתו עליהם, in order that is they be in awe of him. וילמדו ממנו במהרה, and like this they'll learn from him much quickly. I want to tell you, I have an example of two teachers. There was one teacher that said, I'm going to be tough with them. And at the beginning of the year, it was very tough, and really the students were like this. When he cooled down, they continued respecting him because they knew how tough he could be. And Baruch Hashem, the whole year went very, very, very well. There's another teacher who says, no, I'm a cool guy. Come on, it's 2026. And right away, he started joking around with them. They never took him seriously the whole year. It was always a fight to discipline the kids. There needs to be a respect. It's respect for the teacher. Get up for the teacher, respect the teacher, and so on and so forth. When you have that, then you could fear Hashem as well. And then your study is a different type of study. הלך חבב, אין שואלים את הרב כשייכנס לבית המדרש עד שישב דעתו עליו. One should not start asking questions to the teacher upon entering, when he enters the study hall, until his thoughts are collected. Right away, you come in, oh, Rabbi, remember what you said yesterday about... Calm down. Let him come in. Let him settle down. ואין התלמיד שואל כשייכנס עד שישב וננוח. The same thing. The student should be collected when he asks, because he's going to start to ask, oh, I don't know what I meant. Oh, I'm going to have a few ADHD moments. Calm down. Collect yourself. Think about your question. Make sure that you really are very precise in the way you're asking it. Then שואלים שניים כאחד. And two students should not ask a question simultaneously. One thing at a time. ואין שואלים את הרב בעניין אחר אלא מאותו עניין שהם עוסקים בו. And don't start asking the teacher about something that you're not dealing, the subject matter. If it's not the subject matter, don't ask him. He's now immersed in this subject. Don't embarrass. כדי שלא יתבייש, don't embarrass him. Maybe his head is not there. ויש את הרב להטות את התלמידים בשאלותיו ובמעשים שעושה בפניהם כדי לחדלם, כדי שידע אם זוכרים הן מה שלימדן או אינן זוכרים. On the other hand, the teacher should challenge the students with questions that he asks and with the action that he does in their presence in order to sharpen them and to see if they remember and if they really were listening or not. ואין צריך לומר שיש לו רשות לשאול אותם בעניין אחר שאינם עוסקים בו כדי לזרזן, and for sure he can ask the student about another subject matter, just to maintain their alacrity. This is something very, very important. That's why, as we said in the previous chapter, the teacher has to be really settled down. He has to be settled down, he has to be involved, and he cannot do two things at a time. He cannot be on his phone. He can't have any other worries. Right now I'm with the students. I want to sharpen the brain of that student. And it's something beautiful. When you go to a yeshiva and you see people studying and asking the rabbi questions and the rabbi challenges them, it's an experience. It's an extraordinary experience. I have no words for it. הלכה זין. אין שואלים מעומד ואין משיבים מעומד. ולא מגבוה ולא מרחוק. ולא מאחורי הזקנים. One should not ask questions while standing, nor respond while standing, nor from a high place or from afar, from behind the elders. Hello? No, you don't do that. Then שואלים את הרב, אלא בעניין. You only ask, you're allowed to ask a rabbi about the subject matter. Then שואלים אלא מיראה. And when you ask with a sense of awe. ולא ישאל בעניין יותר משלוש הלכות, and one should not ask more than 3 laws about the same specific topic. Very interesting. Don't ask about a subject that's not the subject matter. Interesting. Well, we're going to talk about that, Bezat Hashem. שניים ששאלו, שאל אחד בעניין ושאל אחד שלא בעניין. Right now, the last halacha, another halacha. You have 2 students, you're the rabbi, and you have 2 students which are asking questions. One asks a question that's relevant to the topic that we're discussing. Another one asks about something which is irrelevant to what we're speaking about, but it's still a Torah question. What do you give priority to? It says, Niskakin le'inyan. You answer the one that's speaking about the relevant matter that you're dealing with right now. Somebody asks a question that's practical, about a practical ruling, and something which is more theoretical. You answer about the practical ruling. Halacha u'midrash. Niskakim la'halacha. If it's between Torah law and biblical interpretation, you answer Torah law before you answer biblical interpretation. Midrash ve'agada. If we talk about interpretation and narrative material like Agadah stories, you answer about the narrative material. I'm sorry, you answer about the biblical interpretation. Agadah v'kal v'chomer niskakim l'kal v'chomer. If you have narrative material or something which is a method of learning, you answer the method of learning. And if you have somebody asking a question about what's called a kal v'chomer or gzera shava, let's explain these 2 concepts. Kal v'chomer means, in this situation, the Torah told us you can't do it. How much more so in that situation? So there are these cases where you learn, right, at fortiori, it's called. And then you have what's called a gzera shava. Similar words found in 2 verses. And we learn, for example, one thing in one verse and another thing from another verse. It's called a parallel of words in 2 different situations. So you have these 2 situations. One where you learn about one thing, how much more so the other thing. Or you learn in a parallel, you give priority to the person asking about the more complicated matter. If you have 2 people, which is a sage and another one a student, you first give priority to answer the sage's questions. Talmid v'amaretz, a student and an ignoramus, you answer first the student. Niskakim l'talmid. Shneim chachamim, shneim talmidim, shneim ha'me'aretz. If both are at the same level, שאלו שניהם בשתי הלכות ושתי שאלות, שתי תשובות, שני מעשים, and they ask about the same subject matter. הרשות ביד המתרגם מעתה, the one translating or the spokesperson can choose whoever you want to answer. Finally, the last halacha for today. אין ישנים בבית המדרש, one may not sleep in the study hall. What happens? You know the story. There was this rabbi and this Egged bus driver in Israel, and both of them died on the same day. And the Egged bus driver was sent right away to paradise, to Gan Eden, while the rabbi was sent to purgatory to atone for his sins. And the rabbi was shocked. He said, I don't understand. The bus driver goes to Gan Eden and I end up in purgatory. What's happening here? He says, look, I'm going to tell you. When you gave your speech on Shabbat, you put everybody to sleep. And you're not allowed to sleep in the Bet Midrash. You're not allowed to sleep in the study hall or in the synagogue. So you're going to have to pay the consequences. But when this bus driver was driving, everybody was davening, everybody was praying to get safe home. Anyways, so let's continue. So one may not sleep in the study hall. And v'chol mitnanem bebet midrash, whoever dozes off in the study hall, chochmato nasit kraim kraim, his knowledge becomes patchwork. V'chen amar Shlomo bechokmato, and so too King Solomon said, ukraim talbish numa, he says, dozing off will dress one in rags. Then Mesichin bebet midrash Rabbi divrei Torah bilvad, in the study hall, which is holier, as we see in a second, you are not allowed to speak only words of Torah. Afilu mishinit atesh, even if somebody sneezes, one does not say good health, zu gesund, or labriut. En omrim lo refuah bebet midrash. Ve'en tzarich lomar shar dvarim, how much more so any other things. Ugdushat bet midrash chamura mikdushat bete knesiot. And the sanctity of the study hall is more severe than the sanctity of synagogues. See here, the place of study of Torah has to be holy. There's a few places I want to tell you when you go into yeshiva where people are really involved and there's no words, pollution of words that have nothing to do with the Torah study. You feel right away the kedusha. It's like feel the holy. It's like a magnet. It just draws you and sits you down, and wow, you're just immersed in that holiness. It's a tremendous experience, tremendous experience. I really advise you all to do it next time you walk by a yeshiva. Don't stay far. Sit down for 5 minutes and just contemplate. Look at the students being so involved in discussing. It's like, wow. My friends, with everything I want to conclude with everything that's happening in the world, we see how the world and the Torah is aligning itself. And in such a revealed way, this is the time of Mashiach. And therefore I think that you guys made such a great decision to start studying Rambam and be part of this great Geula. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.